Hey guys, how we doing? So last week we were doing fractions. We were doing it for a couple of weeks, and last week seemed like we had a lot of difficulty picking up some of our newer concepts. Quite difficult. So let's start back to the very beginning, very quickly, mini review, the basic vocabulary of fractions. All right. So what is a fraction? Okay. What is a fraction? All right. Well, a fraction is a part of a whole. So if I were to draw a shape, and it doesn't matter what the shape is, okay? All right, I'm gonna make a few shapes here. And let's focus in right now on our square. All right, and let's say that is broken into four equal parts, right? Because in a fraction, you need to name part of a whole. Well, we have a whole square here. That's the whole square. And when we break it up, we break it into four parts. All right, so we know that these are in fourths. All right. If I were to shade one part, that is one part of the whole. All right, so that is one out of four parts that are shaded. If I went to a circle and I drew a line down the middle right there, okay, you'll see right over here that this is broken into two separate parts. Remember, a fraction is part of a whole. What's the whole? The whole is the circle. Okay, if I were to shade a part here, that is one part of two that is shaded. One part. There are two parts in this whole shape, in this circle. One of the two is shaded. If I take my triangle, all right, and I break it up, very similar to my square, all right, I should be able to count four equal parts. And if I were to shade three of them there, three parts, remember, a fraction is part of the whole, so I can't say the whole thing is shaded. I would say three out of the four, or 3/4 are shaded. So that's how we describe fraction. All right, so now we want to talk about the numerator and the denominator. All right, so let's start with the numerator. All right, that's another vocabulary word we need to know for our fraction. So the numerator, when I look at a fraction, let's look at 1/4, and I'll make the shape again. The numerator is the top number. Okay, that's my numerator. And a numerator shows how many parts of the whole are shaded or talked about. Okay, so this whole shape is broken into four parts. One of those parts, one of those parts is shaded. That's the numerator. That names the numerator. If I shaded in two of the parts, well, then my numerator would be two. Two of the parts are shaded. If I shaded three of them, then the numerator would be three, because that is naming how many parts of the whole are shaded. All right. And the other piece that's really important is the denominator. Denominator is always a number. We don't forget about that. Let's take another fraction this time. Let's take 3/6. So I'm going to make my shape. All right. So we just said the numerator counts the shaded parts, right? So we know that 3 stands for these parts here. Okay. The 6, the denominator, all right, tells us how many equal parts the whole is broken into. So this whole rectangle here is broken up into 6 equal parts. The whole shape is broken into 6 parts. That's how I got my denominator. All right, we'll do one more real fast. This is a review. This is something we should know by now. Okay. So first, it doesn't matter what number you start with. Okay, we're talking about denominator, so let's do that first. The denominator is that bottom number, and again, the denominator names how many equal parts are in the whole shape. How many equal parts? So this triangle is broken into how many shapes? How many parts, rather? Excuse me. 2. Right. This is going back for a couple of weeks now. That's my denominator. That named how many parts this whole shape is broken into. And then if we wanted to know the numerator, we know the numerator names how many parts are shaded. and we see that there's one. So guys, that is a review. We did do that last week. In fact, we've even done that the week prior to that. So I'm noticing the biggest problem we're having is looking at vocabulary and knowing it. All right, so when we're doing these videos, guys, you can't just listen and zone out. Listen in, pay attention. All right, maybe take some notes. All right, part of our assignment today is to write notes down on this Google slide. All right, so we have that connection as to what we are doing and what we are learning. All right, guys, that's your basic vocabulary: fraction, numerator, denominator.